What was your favorite part of character development and emotional depth?
Oh man, I have so many favorite parts. Probably my most favorite part is when we did our scenes, just because we did them and then you gave us
Right.
pointers and then we adjusted things, and
Mm-hmm.
then that was kind of how I felt like, okay, I felt the difference and I can see the
Mm-hmm.
change. And with, like, the advice and everything, the recommendations you gave us, it just made a whole lot of difference. But I mean, there's so many favorites I have. I mean, the whole character development, like developing the characters, learning how to do all of that, the emotional banks and all of that is just like it was great. It was great.
I'm glad that you really got a lot of value from the live feedback during our live
Mhm.
scenes. And like we talked about, as actors, there's a couple different muscles that we need to strengthen. The first is our auditioning self-tape muscle, but then we perform in front of people a lot of times, whether it's on set, whether it is in class, and whether it is, on stage, or so many different scenarios. So that's why I really felt it was important for us to do live scenes together
Mhm.
in class, real time, and then, giving that feedback and allowing for those adjustments. And you did a very, very great job, making those adjustments, incorporating ideas, being open to growth. So awesome, awesome job there. And my next question for you is, what changes have you noticed in your approach to developing characters and your auditions?
Oh my gosh, a huge change. Now I have all these tools, that I didn't have,
Right.
to be able to really develop a character and have a lot more depth.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, like always try to find something, that keeps the stakes higher so that your
Mm-hmm.
character is much more enticing to the audience and
Yes.
believable. So I have all of like these tools now that I feel like now I can actually fully use them
Mm-hmm.
and build a whole different like character with a lot of depth in it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I love, all of the characters that you have built and that I have got the pleasure to meet, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of those characters that you've developed on my TV screen very, very soon. My next question for you, Zabi, is, and before I let you know this next
Mhm.
question, you guys could go ahead and start dropping your questions into the chat, if you have them on your mind, so you don't forget, and I'll make sure to get to those after my next couple questions. My next one for you is, how has the community and the group coaching aspect of the program impacted your journey?
They're very inspiring, that's for sure. People are very supportive of one
Mm-hmm.
another. And it is nice, especially in this industry, because sometimes, it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
We all know that.
Yeah.
And we need to support each other. We need people to be able to share the same passion
Mm-hmm.
and push each other and just keep chugging away
Mm-hmm.
at it, and get ideas, get inspired, most of all. So
Yeah.
I found it really helpful. And I'm glad that there is that group that actually, shares the same passion.
Mm-hmm. Inspiration is everything. I wouldn't
Mhm.
be doing this. I wouldn't even be acting if I wasn't first
Yeah.
inspired. So
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
I'm really glad that, you've been gaining inspiration for the community, and you are an inspiration. You're an
Oh,
inspiration
you're
here
my
today.
inspiration.
Thank you, Zabi. See, Zabi, you're an awesome person. And that's one of the things that I truly love about our community is everybody is awesome. Everybody is
Yeah.
a good person. Um, and I think that's just the type of vibe that we have. And they say your vibe attracts your tribe. So I'm
Mhm.
just truly blessed and thankful for you, Zabi. I'm truly blessed and thankful for your energy, your focus, your hard work, your persistence, you showing up, your dedication to grow, and also your involvement in our community, because right now, you're inspiring everybody that's here, and you're going to be inspiring our community with all of the things that you're going to be doing next. I just have a couple more questions for
Okay.
you, and I know you are a busy actress, busy schedule, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. But my next question for you is, how do you feel now compared to when you first started the program?
I feel so much more confident, honestly. Obviously, when I started the program, I didn't know what to expect.
Hmm.
I've taken acting classes before, I've taken private coaching, so I didn't know what to
Right.
expect. And as an actor, you just always are learning.
Hmm.
I feel like I'm
Never
always,
stops.
always learning. I can
Hmm.
never be at a point where I'm like super confident that, okay, I'm done. I don't have to take any more classes. I feel like there's always room for improvement. And when I took your course, it opened up a whole new world. I mean, I kind of knew some of the things we talked about
Right.
from previous
Hmm.
classes, but the way you broke it down and the way you made it so simple and understandable for us, especially for Tika and I,
Hmm.
coming into it together, not knowing each other on
Right.
top of
Yep.
that. It was great. I appreciate you so much for like caring and truly being genuinely giving us constructive criticisms that we need to improve. I really appreciate that.
Of course.
And of course, it's super helpful that you yourself is a working, successful actor, which helps a lot in this industry. Not just someone who went to school and actually hasn't done
Right.
anything.
Right.
It's
Right.
different, right? It's
Hmm.
different when you're fully
Way different.
immersed in it. Yeah. So I appreciate you a lot for like making this course just so it's like I felt like I've grown so much, and literally I can't believe it's only 4 weeks.
Only 4 weeks. Only 4 sessions
I
together,
know.
and
I know.
already such amazing growth. I was talking about our last session with some of my family, and I was just like, because I was so excited going into the session because I saw you guys level up. I saw you get to that next level, and those final assignments you sent in, those final tapes you sent in, they, even to this day I could just really feel it in my spirit. They truly touch me, and that's
Oh,
why we are fans of entertainment. That's why we're fans of TV film,
hmm,
is because we do this because we want to feel something.
right.
We look at these shows, we try to find the best title because at the end of the day we want to feel something. And that's what I felt, you know with your growth and with your final presentations. And go ahead, and everybody, go ahead, drop 100, drop some hearts in the chat, because I just absolutely love what she said. I love what Zaby said about how, as actors, the learning never stops, the
Never
growing never
stops. Yep.
stops. This is a craft, right? So we constantly improve our craft. Go ahead, drop those hundreds in the chat and hearts for Zaby. And
Thank
then I have two more
you.
questions for you,
Okay.
and then we will open questions for the chat. Now, my next one is, if you could describe your experience with character development and emotional depth for somebody considering joining, how would you describe it?
Get ready, because Phil's gonna make you work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This when you decide to join, you have to be serious about this craft. You have to have the drive, the passion, and Phil will give you that. Like he gave us his heart, his dedication. He worked with us. He gave us homework, a lot of homework sometimes, but you have to put in the work.
Hmm.
You want something badly enough, you have to put the work in. And I'm so grateful for that because, there's times when it was so crazy and I had so much going on, but at the same time, I'm like, no excuses. I got to get my stuff done for Phil's class. I have to do it, and you just have to because this is what we do, right? This is what we love to do. And
This
this
is
is
what we
all of
love.
our passion. So you can't make excuses. There's no excuse. So if you want to take his course, the best advice is really, really put your heart into it because you will grow and you will learn something. I mean, it was such a short time and I wish that it was a lot longer. But just those 4 weeks, it's really amazing. Like I'm so happy I learned it. You broke it down so simply and it was just really just a great workshop. That's all I can say. And, you'll benefit from it for sure. I mean, you'll totally learn how to develop your character so much more than, you ever probably knew
Hmm.
if you've never taken any kind of acting class.
Awesome, awesome. I really love, again, your mindset. said. And I think that's why I I'm so inspired by you, and I really, am excited about what's to come for you, because again, what you just said, putting the work in is so key and so necessary. And that's truly how you get the most out of this experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love this. I'm putting my heart into this as well, and I'm glad that you recognize this. But at the end of the day, the person who's going to be doing the auditions, the person who's going to be on camera, the person who's going to be uh, wearing the skin of these characters is you, right?
Right.
So you are a perfect example of what happens when you really go 100%, when you really put the work in, put your heart in, and focus in, on what's important, regardless of all of the millions of things that we have in our lives, right? The
Yeah.
millions of other things that we go
Yep.
through, all of the emotions we go through, all of the uh, responsibilities that we have, but to just be dedicated and carve out that time for yourself, for your dreams, for your passions, pays off. That's
Mm-hmm.
one of the most beautiful things about this industry that I always say is that we get out of this industry what we put into it. There's
Right. Exactly.
no shortcut of work, right? What I'm doing is I'm trying to communicate, transmit everything that I've learned, all of my experiences into a way that's simple to understand and simple to digest. But the one thing that will never change is that we got to put in the work, to get the results. So I'm really glad that you highlighted that fact as well. And my last question, this is my very last question.
All
And
right.
go ahead and drop your questions in the chat for the amazing Zaybe. Go ahead and drop your questions right now, and we'll get that answered right after my last questions. I'll give you just a brief moment to drop that in there. I do want to say hello to Jamie. Hello to Big Gel. Great having Misha here. Dejan. Yes, go ahead and drop your questions in the chat, all right? And we will get to that in 1 second. My last question for you, Zabi, is what's next for you? And how do you plan to use what you've learned in the program moving forward?
Well, what's next for me? I have a couple of projects that I'm working on, and obviously it's a daily thing,
Hmm.
auditions, self-tapes, which I'm super like grateful that, I'm getting requested to do a lot of
Yeah.
self-tapes. Yeah, sometimes it's a little overwhelming, but
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what? I'm not complaining because,
Blessings, though. All blessings.
exactly. So yes, I'm learning to do all kinds of different self-tapes. And I'm just hoping that, there was a TV series that we did, a pilot. It hasn't been aired yet, but I'm waiting for that. I'm hoping something happens, hopefully, with that. But if not, I mean, I'm gonna keep chugging on,
Yep.
So it's an ongoing thing for me. This is it. So I'm just gonna work at it every single day.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Spoken like a true professional, working at your craft every day, getting better, getting better. And we are eagerly waiting in the community to hear about all of your auditions, all of your successes, and your productions being released. So please let us know of all of your activities, everything that you are into in our chat so we can celebrate with you. And I want
Sure,
to
thank you.
just, of course, you're welcome, Zabi. Now, I want to see if we have any questions in the chat before we let Zabi go. She's been really gracious with her time today. All right. So if you have any questions, now is the time to ask them. Misha said, just breathe and keep going forward. Jamie said,
Thank you.
woohoo. Thank you.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you so much, guys. Misha said, work is definitely key. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you about 5 to 10 more seconds to ask Zabi any questions about her experience with character development and emotional depth, or feel free to ask her any questions about her acting career, her experience, the shows that she's working on, because we are blessed to have her here with us. All right, I'm going to give you just a couple more seconds, about 5 more seconds, and then we will let Zabi go. All right. Thank you again so much for joining us today. And I really appreciate your guys' energy, because energy is everything. Inspiration is everything. motivation is everything, and the work is everything, and we are so blessed to have the best job in the world and be doing the most fun work that we can ever do, right? Living in imaginary circumstances, going to worlds and realities and visiting other skins of people who we would not even be involved in if we just were us the whole time, right? And we didn't
Right.
act. I have a couple questions here. Jamie says, "What's your favorite part of the character development class?" Okay, Jamie came a little bit late because that was the first question, but so we could feel free to answer that one more time. What's your favorite part of the character development class?
Um, I have many favorites, like I told Phil, but my
Mm-hmm.
favorite part was we actually did scenes live, that Phil gave us to work on. And we rehearsed it. We tried to memorize it as well at the same time. And then Phil would give us pointers after we did it the first time. Sometimes we
Mm-hmm.
did it three times,
Mm-hmm.
to adjust certain things. And he'll give us recommendations and suggestions as to how we can make the character come to life more and give it a little more depth. And I think that was my favorite because it's really seeing the difference, the little tweaks and the little, sort of like character inserts of what he's telling us to do with our characters. And you see kind of the difference. You feel the connection more with your partner. Um, so, I mean, just in that alone, working that with someone else that you've never met is hard, but
Mm-hmm.
the way he helped us, it was really great because we got to work on it together, and then we saw the difference between from the first take to the third take or
Mm-hmm.
towards the end of the class.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you so much for that answer to Jamie's question. And then the next question we have is from Misha. She says, "What type of films do you see yourself doing in the future?"
Oh man, Misha, I would love to do I'm a crime scene investigation, like that is my favorite. Either like crime series, I totally want to be like a detective or a CSI person, or like what's the other one? The law, the the CSI. There's like the other one that was going on
Detectives.
forever. There was like it was like a CSI, but it was
Okay.
something law. Anyways,
Law officials. Okay.
yeah, but
Hmm.
yeah, I see myself doing things like that because that's really what I'm into. I'm more into dramatic things and like just crime stuff.
Jamie said Law and
That's
Order.
it.
Okay. 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 Yeah.
Law and Order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamie, she knows the production. She knows the shows. Anytime anybody needs like a recommendation for a good show, Jamie is the one to ask. She'll
Yeah.
be
All
on it
right.
for
I make
sure.
sure I'll hit up Jamie next time.
And Misha even said, "I could see you playing those roles. I
Oh,
definitely can."
oh,
Me
cool.
too.
Thank you.
Me too. Me too. So we are looking forward to checking you out on those shows. Crime dramas are one of my favorite genres as well, and that is there's a
Thank
lot
you.
of crime drama shows, and that is where we have a lot of our first co-star roles, guest star roles, recurring roles,
Mhm.
etc. Those shows are really great for building up careers, because if you think about it, right, we have like the villain of the week or the crime doer of the week, right? So it's always these new characters that we have coming in. Even if we think about, um, even if in crime dramas, right, they interview people, they bring people in like as witnesses and things like that. So
Mhm.
that's why those are really really great shows, to be a part of. And there's so many awesome shows that are crime drama. One of the ones I started, my actually first role on TV was on Chicago PD, a crime
Oh,
drama.
yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah, so
love that.
those.
See, that's the type of stuff I would love to
Mm-hmm.
do.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and that you're gonna be doing. And we're super excited to hear of all your successes, hear of all your wins, and to watch all the productions that you're going to be in very, very soon.